The Nobleman's Lot. A great day looms ahead. 100 years ago, Uther Tempest was anointed to rule over the Empire. Blessed by the twins themselves, the Emperor's reign continues into its second century. Celebrations to honor the Tempest dynasty are held throughout the city, and the school is closed for 2 weeks because of that. Nice. Holidays. On one of these evenings, Father tells everyone that Grandfather is going to bring Stefan back home for the holiday. They say families should celebrate the day of anointment together. You could benefit from your elder brother's company. With his noble education, Stefan might be able to teach you how noblemen are supposed to act. Soon Stefan arrives. He now handles himself differently. When it comes to ordering servants around and ignoring Gloria, he's still Grandfather's double. But he's more grown up now, and far less haughty to you. It is a dark winter evening. Come to think of it, I wonder if that's, potentially due to me, giving him a hand earlier. It is a dark winter evening. A damp, cold wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands of Magra. You and Stefan are sitting in the library. He is telling you all about Eterna, the capital of the Empire. It is full of so many wonders. The Imperial Palace, the enormous Temple of the Twins, the Military Academy, the Imperial College. You've read so much about these places, yet he has seen them firsthand. Nathan enters the library. He looks concerned.
I can't find Gloria. I looked everywhere. She's not in the attic, not in the sitting room, not in the kitchen. I heard she wanted to sneak off to the ruins of Charmilandias' place. She could be lost there.
You and Stefan exchange looks. Charmilandias, the rebellious duke, the ruins of his place are a dangerous place. Some children claim his tainted magic still lingers there, which means you absolutely have to make your way there, and back again to prove you are not afraid of the long, dead witch. Your brother tells you to wait. He leaves and soon returns with his sword in its sheath.
Get ready, Brian. We're going to rescue Gloria. She must have gone to the ruins in search of inspiration for another one of her little rhymes.
The two of you instruct Nathan to tell your parents you've gone for a walk in the square. You and your elder brother head outside. You're confused by Stefan's actions. He refuses to treat Gloria like a human being, so why is he still so determined to rescue her? Stefan notices your expression.
Are you wondering why I care about Gloria all of a sudden? I can't act in any other way, can I? The law of honor compels me to protect my family. Gloria will never be a Brante, but Father still took her into our house. I must respect his seniority and defend Gloria like she is one of our own. You are a Brante too, noble or not, which means it is your duty to aid me.
The ruins of Charmilandias' place spans an entire district. The palace. Oh, it's a palace, not a place. Sheesh. The entire palace was abandoned centuries ago, and its remnants are overgrown with thick underbrush. The ruined palace is empty, nothing but cold wind blowing over crumbling brickwork. Even the worst scum of the land steer clear of this place. You make your way through the ruins until you spot scattered sheets of paper covered in writing. Your sister's writing. You hear loud laughter coming from behind a dilapidated stone wall nearby. You pull yourself up to peer over it. Gloria is lying on the ground face down, twitching and sobbing. A gaggle of drunk young thugs surround her, cackling and swinging their arms about. You hear their shouts.
Look at the lass sitting there, rhyming her words together. She thinks she's all noble, but don't you worry, you low-born tad. We're gonna teach you your place.
One of the louts spits at Gloria as she lies there.
Get away from her this instant, you bastards, or I'll spill your guts.
They respond with mocking laughter. Stefan draws his sword. The street thugs recoil in fear, but they soon notice he is only one armed man against many. They start reaching out for sticks and stones.
Stay by my side. Do not let them flank me.
Stefan's hand shakes, but he looks ready to battle. Or for battle, rather. He is outnumbered. For a moment, you hesitate. Perhaps it might be better to run for the nearby district and call for guards. The young thugs are already armed with makeshift weapons. They start approaching you and Stefan cautiously. Could call the guards, gain some ingenuity, and Stefan relations flatline? Or minus, maybe? I don't know. Oh, that's my current relations, I see. I could gain a nobility and lose a willpower for following my brother's orders. Okay. Or charge the attackers. I will assist my brother in following his orders. Stefan's firm voice fills you with confidence. You follow your noble brother's orders. It takes a moment to grab a stick, and then you are at Stefan's back, angrily swinging at the louts as they try to bring him down. One of the louts lunges at your brother with a stone, but you hit him with the stick, and he falls down right at Stefan's feet. His sword flashes, the blade sinks deep into the young man's stomach. He wheezes. Blood starts pouring onto the ground. The thugs freeze. Stefan pulls the sword out, his face an inscrutable mask, and returns to his fighting stance. You are stunned to see Stefan take another man's life so easily and effortlessly, like picking his own teeth. The thugs look like they're about to flee. There's rage and confusion on their faces. They never expected the young nobleman to use that sword. Stefan just scoffs at them. Low-born scum! That's all that you are! This is the only language you understand. Good job, brother. Gloria, get up. We're going home. He turns to glance at your sister, giving the enraged thugs just enough time to rush you. You get separated from Stefan. Your back is against the wall now. They hit you hard in the stomach, then the face, then the side of the head. Then your mind slips away. When the darkness disperses, you find yourself lying in your bed. Stefan is in the armchair next to you, reading a book. He is alive! With his left arm in a sling and black eye, but still alive. Your head is spinning, and you feel nauseous. You try your best to sit up. Stefan looks up from the book. Don't try to get up. You lost a lot of blood. I suppose that was a few thugs too many for a single warrior, even with good backup. I'm impressed. We fought like an army. The noble orders, the commoner obeys. All according to our lots. We defended the family's honor together. You know, brother, the nobleman's lot is also a great burden, but few are able to bear. It takes courage not to fight everything you see, but to do your duty. Each and every decision a nobleman makes becomes a part of his family's legacy, flowing in the blood tide forever. I think about it often. A noble mustn't act weak. A noble mustn't suffer like people of the low-born lot. A noble must rule over them wisely. A noble must ensure that they have work to do. It's not merely your own lot you have to look after. You have to ensure that 1,000 others can live by their lots as well. And there are so many more matters to take care of. Honor, dignity, tradition. It's tough, but that's what it takes to be a nobleman. Do you understand what I'm talking about? There's approval in your brother's eyes for the first time in a long while. It was a pleasure to fight side by side, brother. Wonderful. Got some sympathy. And some nobility. Nice. Trial of the assailants. Before long, the entire city hears how a gang of low-born thugs assaulted Stefan Brante. Grandfather ensures that the brash young men are found. Some of them are taken into custody as soon as Lesser Death releases them. Grandfather seeks vengeance on those who hurt his favorite grandson. Prefect Elborn, a friend of your family, promises to personally oversee the trial and ensure that justice is served. Stefan and Grandfather decide to stay in Anazota until the trial ends. Grandfather demands true death for every single assailant. You ask Father to explain something. How can a legal court sentence criminals to true death? How can worldly judgment overrule the twins' law? Your words are true, my son. Their law is made second to none. Yet the twin gods also made the empire and all its ways. The court of law exists to execute the laws of heaven here in the world. Should the court of law sentence a person to death, the law high above will always enforce it. And so, every execution brings true death. The commoners who assaulted Stefan, a born nobleman, have committed a grave offense. There is no doubt about that. And yet, according to the Emperor's decree, even commoners have the right to defend themselves when they are about to face true death. This means that all of us will have to appear at the trial and testify before the courts.
Evening comes. Gloria visits your room. She looks crestfallen, and her fingers keep reaching for her long hair. You put away your school books and ask what is bothering her.
The trial's tomorrow. I thought I was going to appear there too? An eyewitness, after all, this whole mess started because of me. But Sir Robert isn't even going to mention that I was there. Can you imagine? He says it would ruin the case. Why am I always in the way? Nobody ever mentions me, nobody has to listen to me. It's like I don't exist. And I thought Stefan standing up for me finally meant something. Maybe I will become a part of the family. But no, everything is back to usual now.
Gloria tries her best to hold back the tears. You do your best to comfort her. Father just needs to keep the family out of trouble.
If Sir Robert believes that I only bring trouble, why did he take me into the house at all?
Gloria runs away. You return to your books, but you can't help but get lost in thought. What if they told the court you weren't there either? How would you feel then? There's a knock at the door. It is Father. He closes the door behind him and sits next to you. There's an exhausted look about him. Son, you will be testifying before the court tomorrow. Please remember what I'm about to tell you. Gloria wasn't at the ruins at all. You went there with your brother to inspect the historic sites. The low-born men insulted Stefan first and then attacked him. Stefan had managed to deal with the assailants on his own by the time the guards intervened. Gloria will cast suspicion on the case. If we mention her very existence to the court, the reputation of the family will suffer. Your grandfather will never forgive me if that happens. Do not let me down. We're all counting on you. You recall the night of the fight like it was a moment ago. Gloria, sprawled under the feet of those cackling thugs. Her poetry, her greatest treasure scattered on the ground. She thinks she's all noble. Those were the words they spat down at her. But doesn't grandfather mean the same thing when he denies that she is a part of the family? But if you do what father tells you, the trial will end quickly. Those commoners will face true death for assaulting a noble. If you mention Gloria, things will get complicated, and you cannot predict how the trial will end. Which is more important to you? What is right, or what is just? I can support father. Get reputation, lose unity, Gloria will dislike me. Robert will like me. Could lie, get some ingenuity. Robert will dislike this, but Gloria will appreciate it. Or convince father to change his mind. We'll lose a reputation, gain a unity, nobility goes up, spirituality goes up, willpower goes down, and Gregor dislikes me. I'll convince him to change his mind. Gloria's clearly hurt by this whole thing. You look father straight in the eye, and tell him what you think. You are not going to bear false witness in court. He is a judge himself. How can he make you lie to Sir Elborn? And what of Gloria? Is she not a Brante too? Does she not deserve justice? Or maybe grandfather's right and she is just a freeloader who deserves nothing but shame. If so, then how come father agreed to take her into his home and under his protection? Saying this to father is tough. Deep inside you pray he hears no weakness in your voice and sees no blood rushing to your cheeks. But it seems he is listening to you, intensely. The wrinkles on his forehead grow deeper as his fingers stammer out a staccato against the armrest. This is going to be tough, son. But you're right. You are right. I took Gloria into my home, and so I must protect her like my own daughter. This was my decision, and I must stand by it.
I will speak with Stefan in the morning. Now I pray your grandfather never hears of my change of heart.
The day comes. The trial takes place in the lesser hall of the city prefecture. Sir Elborn himself presides as the judge. You are the first to testify to the court. You tell the court the truth about that night, how the thugs humiliated Gloria, how Stefan and you came to help her, and how Stefan defended his half-sister. Out of the corner of your eye, you watch grandfather's face grow red, yet he remains silent. There are confused whispers in the hall. The commoners on trial cry out. It's the truth! Gloria was reciting poetry, and they simply told her she was defying her lot. The situation has changed. By this account, Stefan was not acting in defense of himself or another. He merely assaulted them first in order to retaliate against those who had insulted his half-sister. You spread your feet to stand firm and inhale before you speak next. You ask the hall, is it not a nobleman's duty to honor his family's name? Gloria does not have the Brante name, but your father took her into his home. Therefore, it was Stefan's duty to protect her, as he would have protected any of you. Contemptuous chuckles rush through the courtroom. You have just reminded the city of father's shameful second marriage. Stefan is to testify next. He reluctantly confirms your testimony, glancing at father and grandfather all the while. His arm in the sling is his main argument. Stefan wanted the commoners to stop insulting Gloria, yet in the end, the commoners were the first to assault him. After a short recess, Sir Elborn returns and rises to deliver his sentence.
The court of Vanazorte finds you guilty of assaulting Stefan Elbrant, a nobleman, who stood in defense of the honor of Gloria, a member of his household. All 4 defendants are sentenced to true death by hanging.
There is no wind, but you feel a gust sweep through the hall. The defendants turn pale. Their mothers are bawling and crying. Everybody in the court feels the dreadful power of the law, and it is stern and just. That very power has been invoked by this sentence. And by that very sentence, the lives of the 4 young men are literally forfeit for all eternity. The gallows awaits. Stefan stands in the front row. Father stands next to him. The wood creaks. The trapdoors open under the young men's feet. They dangle in the air, wheezing and reaching out for support with their feet in their final moments. Grandfather's silence ends at the home. He screams at your father, and Stefan and Gloria. This trial's a disgrace, he screams. His screams are punctuated by the thudding of his walking stick against the floor. Father says they had to defend their family. It would have truly been a disgrace if they had shirked their responsibilities. Stefan excuses himself to bandage his arm in order to stay out of the argument. Gloria is quiet, but glowing. You stay quiet too. It's all over now. It is all over now. Nobody bullies Gloria on the streets anymore. Those 4 commoners are dead forever. Their families were taught a cruel lesson. So will it be with anyone who dares to raise his hand against a nobleman. Okay, well, we've got tarnished honor now. Ah, and we're soulful spiritually. That's nice. An adult question. This event is a consequence. Okay. The day is sunny, scorching, and hot. You are sitting in the yard in the shade of a tree, studying books about the twins' great descent. You hear shy, quiet steps. There's no need to look back. You know from the sound that it is Nathan. Your younger brother also sits in the shade of the tree, yet he is quiet. He is not tugging at your clothes this time. That is usual. He is just sitting by your side, breathing loudly. You tear yourself away from the book and look at your brother. Nathan is deep in thought. He seems uneasy. He is fidgeting with the symbol of the twins, a cross inside a circle. The lash bound around the sword. It is Nathan's pendant. He wears it all the time.
But not today. The silence wears on. Nathan takes a deep breath, like he is about to speak, but he does not. His face grows even grimmer. He looks unusually hurt and bitter. At last, Nathan gathers his courage. He takes another deep breath, his eyes narrow. His hand clutches the encircled cross.
Tell me, Brian. The twins. They hate me, don't they?
Nathan's voice is quiet yet firm. The world falls silent around you. Not even a gust of wind can be heard. It is as if everything is waiting for your answer. You look at your brother again, confused. Nathan, the youngest brother, the most unassuming child. He is quiet, obedient, and thoughtful. He has been your responsibility almost since his birth. Yet he has never been a burden. Father was always aloof around him, and Mother was too tired to even smile. Even Grandfather seemed to avoid Nathan with his scorn. He just treated your little brother like a piece of trash. He never called him by name and always winced at the sight of him. Perhaps because he looked so much like Mother. But is it true that the twin gods had no love for your little brother? Surely the twins have enough for even for little Nathan, do they not? Nathan was born a commoner like you. His lot is suffering. Everyone is tested by the twins before their true death. No one can expect mercy along their path. He was born the youngest child in a family. That is his trial. Should Nathan persevere and bear the burden he was dealt, he shall yet reach the peak of the pillar when his time runs out. There is hope in Nathan's eyes as he looks at you. Guiding others in matters of faith is the clergy's lot. You're no priest, yet you cannot stay quiet. You see his pain, you see his trepidation, and so you will tell him what you think. What you are about to say may be a turning point in his life. Dispel Nathan's fears, or confirm Nathan's fears. Gain more spirituality, or nobility and ingenuity. Nathan would appreciate this. What would I say? What would Brian Brante say, given his experiences? It is a cruel world, certainly. But does that mean there is no love from the twin gods? I dispel Nathan's fears. You tell your brother that the twins are more than just law and will. They are also love. So writes Satius, the disciple of the elder, and so says Mother. And both you and him were brought into this world through their providence. It is true that their love is quite unlike the love of humans have for one another. They cannot forgive others unconditionally like mother or father would. Your parents love you no matter what. But they are unlike them. And yet the twins bear no hatred, for they descended to our world and granted us knowledge of how to live. And this is a great treasure indeed. The twins put us all to the test with the hardships they send. They watch how we follow our lots, and if Nathan suffers and feels no love from them, then that means they believe in him, and know he will endure this suffering. They know he will humbly accept it, and let it pass through him, let it purify him. This is the manifestation of their love. Nathan hangs on your every word. The despair fades from his face. He is smiling. He puts the chain with the encircled cross back around his neck, again, and hugs you gratefully.
So, they do love me. Thank you. You've helped me hold on to my faith.
You hug Nathan back and hear him sniffle on your shoulder. He'll remember this little talk for years to come. Nathan's admonition. Wonderful. $11:32. Agony. Stefan leaves soon after the trial, alone. Grandfather does not go with him, For the first time in a long while, he lingers in the house for more than a fortnight. Father says Sir Gregor is ill and needs rest. Several months go by, and it becomes clear that grandfather will not recover. The eldest Brante is mostly bedridden now. On some days, he has trouble recognizing people. When he means to address you or Nathan, he calls you Robert, your father's name. But when he does get out of bed, the house grows empty. The servants hide. Mother locks herself in her chambers. You and Nathan run outside, or hide quietly in your rooms. If grandfather sees anyone in the hallway, he begins lamenting. Oh, nobody heeds the lots any longer. Any harlot with a child can marry a nobleman these days. Children have no respect. His son betrayed him and let him down. And oh, how the Brante family has lost its honor. Again and again you hear grandfather knocking at mother's door, screaming that it is her fault. He blames her for ruining his chances to find bliss in the hereafter. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. You overhear your parents talking one night. Mother begs father to move Sir Gregor to his old home and spare the children his decline. Father refuses her outright. It is late. The hot, dry winds are coming. The house is empty save for you, Nathan, Gloria, mother, and grandfather in his bed. Father's left for the capital on business. You are engrossed in the history of the Empire, snapping out of your reverie only when the clock strikes midnight. You blow out the candles and get ready for bed. You hear the shuffling of heavy feet outside your door. You see light in the hallway. Grandfather. What could he want in the middle of the night? You peek into the hallway once he has passed. Grandfather's figure sways as he heads for the door to Mother's chambers. He opens the door and walks in. You hear him saying something quietly. Your unease is stronger than your fear now. You sneak closer to hear his words. You foul commoner! I have to cleanse my sins. I have to save my soul. You are my greatest sin. You and what you have done to Robert and his family. I should have put a stop to this marriage. I should have stopped Robert from taking this house by your presence. Why, oh, why didn't I do it?
Please, Sir Brante, I beg of you.
Silence! You will do my bidding. Fire will cleanse all low-born filth from this place. Fire and flames will free Robert from his disgrace. This is for my son's sake. For my son's sake! For my sake! I need to eradicate this low-born filth. The twins, they are calling me now. I can feel it. I can feel it.
I beg of you. Please, have mercy.
Mother begins to cry. You run into the room, unable to stay out of this any longer. Grandfather's gaunt figure looms over Mother's bed, a lit oil lamp in his hand. Mother is sprawled out on the bed crying.
Please, just let me warn the children. I beg of you, Sir Brante.
Your steps are loud enough to be heard. Grandfather turns to look at you. Stay out of this, Brian. Be useful for once. Worldly matters concern me no longer. I see only my sins now. And a sinner I am. A sinner that wins. I forgive no one. I will judge me by the pillar. I must do something. I don't want to suffer all eternity. Go away. Mother's crying. Grandfather is still looming over the bed. Driven to madness, his hands shake as it clutches the oil lamp. His eyes shine in the dark. He truly believes this has to be done. You're suddenly torn. What if he is right? What if that is the only way for a soul to find salvation? There's no going back now. You have but a moment to act. Run away to rescue Nathan and Gloria. Get some ingenuity. Lose some wealth. Get some spirituality. And Gregor Brante has a true death. Stop, grandfather. Gain nobility and ingenuity. Lose some willpower. Gregor will not like that very much. Or let it all happen as grandfather wishes. Lose wealth. I'll gain nobility, ingenuity, spirituality, and die. And everyone, people aren't going to be very happy about that, except for Gregor, who's, he's going to be dead, so I'm not really sure I should value his opinion very much. I mean, he's threatening to burn the house down. We have to stop him. You look at Grandfather defiantly and step towards him. He stares you down with rage and throws the oil lamp at the floor. You manage to catch it, but just barely. Several drops of hot oil hit the rug, not nearly enough to start a fire. The lamp's glass is blisteringly hot. It burns your hands, but you still hold on to it safely.
You low-born scum! You ruined everything! You're every bit like your mother! You!
Enraged, he takes a swing, and you squeeze your eyes shut. But he does not hit you. Instead, there's a deep exhalation. You peek at him with one eye, just in time to see him collapse, all his strength fading away. His chest is heaving, his face a grimace of contempt. Another heavy exhalation. The contempt is gone. There's only fear now. Grandfather's eyes open wide, almost in surprise. He exhales. His eyes grow dim. Mother is there, whispering a prayer. She is shaking violently. You put the oil lamp gently on the bedside table and call for the servants. They carry the body away. It does not disappear. True death has found him. He will never return. You spend the rest of the night with Mother in the sitting room. She will not let go of your hand. For many, many nights afterward, she keeps seeing Grandfather's shadow out of the corner of her eye. Father returns from a turn in the morning after. He is unusually composed as he arranges for the funeral. The house becomes quiet, not the looming heavy sort of quiet of the past few months, but the calm relief you all feel now that the crazed old man is no more. At last, Gregor Brante, the family's patriarch, has departed for the hereafter. I almost out of willpower. Might need to do something about that soon. Grandfather's demise. In year 1132, my grandfather, Sir Gregor Brante, left this world forever to meet the twin gods.